Hello, this is Riley Smith with MakeGood Creative Network, and I wanted to share with you because it is the new year, and although we're all being very careful not to expect too much from 2022, I wanted to share with you some of my goal setting principles that have really helped me. I am a full-time writer and comedy teacher. That's something that I managed to make happen in 2020 despite all of the bullshit that was going on that year. And in 2021, I accomplished a lot with improving my mental health, which was a big ticket item on ye old to-do list, as well as getting a dog. You can see a picture of him here. Isn't he cute? I'll probably film him and put him in the video later. But you have to make it through the video to get to see that dog. But because I have found a process that works for me despite my depression, anxiety, and ADHD, I figured it would be good to share it because I think a lot of goal setting things are not designed or expressed in a way that's helpful if you are neurodivergent. So I took my process, which works really well for me in particular, and try to look at some principles behind it. So I'll probably make another video in a couple of weeks that walks you through exactly what my particular process is, just in case that's helpful to anybody. But I didn't want to be like, this is how you do it, because everybody's a little, we're all special snowflakes. So, but actually, everybody's going to be slightly different, and the things that work for me and keep me motivated and make me eventually accomplish things may not work for you, but behind the things that work specifically for me are principles that will actually hopefully help you. I broke down my whole goal setting process into 6 steps that hopefully you can add with things that you know about yourself to make goals that you will actually achieve eventually. We'll talk about that in step number 5. So the first thing is to start with your values, not anyone else's. This can be hard. This took a lot of work for me to figure out what do I care about, as opposed to what do I feel like other people expect of me, or what does, my mom care about? For instance, hypothetically, do you have it on your list of goals to lose 10 pounds because you care about that, or because your mom keeps commenting on your weight every time you go to visit her? Just a hypothetical example of what I mean. It's not just your parents. It's also, do you want to make that certain amount of money because you think it'll look good to your peers? Do you want to achieve this job because you've just decided that job is what other people will be impressed by? Figure out your values first, because if you don't know them and define them, if you can't write them down, what's important to you, you're not going to be motivated to accomplish the goals that you select. Unless they are actually aligned with the values that you naturally possess, you are not going to be motivated. You are not going to accomplish the things you're trying to accomplish. So once you've identified your values, this is a big step, get that one done first. Then I think that you can set goals that you will actually achieve eventually, because you'll stay motivated because they're connected to what you really care about. So the second step is to think about what you want, but then focus on what you can actually do. For instance, I'll use something from my life. Maybe what I want is to sell 100 copies of my novel, but I'm not the one buying the copies. I can't control that thing that happens. Somebody else has to do that. All I can do is focus on what I can do. I can write books, self-publish them, and market the shit out of them. And I have a book I'm going to be self-publishing this month, upcoming month. That's the thing I'm going to do, a book I've been working on since 2017. Yes, I want a bunch of people to buy the book. I can't control that thing. But what I can control is what I do, to a certain degree. I focus my goals. They almost read more like a to-do list, because they're focused on things that I can accomplish. And then I feel good about accomplishing those things rather than feel bad that the universe didn't make things work out in exactly the way that I was hoping. So my goals for that read more like self-publish and market the book in every way possible. So think about what you want, think about the thing you would like to occur in your life, and then focus on what you can actually do and make that your goal. 2B, so kind of associated with this step, I don't know why I got little hamster hands when I talk about that. Associated with this step, 2B, focus on do and not don't. You may have heard this before if you've watched videos like this about goal setting. You may have heard it before. Focus on what you can do, not what you're going to restrict yourself. I used to do this all the time and I never stuck with it. I would be like, I'm not going to eat this thing anymore. I'm not going to do this thing anymore. I'm not going to da-da-da-da. It's so negative and it's really hard to do not things. Like, we are action-oriented creatures, and making all of your goals about things you will avoid or not do is actually really hard just to get a grip on and accomplish. So focus on what you will do. If you have a goal to be healthier, if you want to be a healthier person, first of all, that's way too big. Let's focus on one thing. No, break that down into eat better. I want to eat better. It's not, I don't want to eat junk food anymore. I want to eat better. So when I am shopping, I will think about what I'm buying and if it contributes to my health. So think about do and not don't. Step number 3, prioritize these things. Now that you've listed down these things you would like to do, list them in order of priority. You can't do them all at the exact same time. If you try to, you will freak out. Trust me. So list them all down, all the things that you want to do, all the things you want to accomplish. List them by priority, and then take off the top the first 1 to 3. Focus on those. Those are now the things you are currently working on. Everything else is going to have to wait. You're only human. You got to focus on a couple of things at a time. I wish I could narrow down my focus to just one thing at a time. I feel like I would really just charge through shit if I could do that. But I have such a hard time keeping attention unless I have multiple, many tasks going at once. It's hard for me to stay motivated on just one thing for a prolonged period. So it helps me to have several kind of pots in the fire. Is that the phrase? I don't know. Helps me to have several things going at the same time. So I focus on 3 things. I have 3 primary goals right now. I'll give more specific examples of my thing when I talk about my process in particular. But once you've listed out everything and you've prioritized it, take the first, most important 1 to 3. Any more than 5, and you're not going to be able to keep it all in your head. You should be able to recite your goals off the top of your head. These are the 3 things that I'm working on right now. You should be able to say them without going, oh, what was the 4th thing? What was the 4th thing? It had to do with something about books. No, just pick your 3 main things. That doesn't mean you don't do anything else in your life. But those are the 3 goals that you are working on, in addition to the daily minutia of feeding yourself and bathing and other things that may be in your life. Because we have puny human brains. They can only hold so many things at one time. So go easy on yourself. Everything on your list will eventually get done if you keep working on it. So, and I'm telling myself this as well as you, because it's something I have to remind myself. So just focus on the most important things first. And then you can do the other things later when you've accomplished those cool, most important things. Now that we've picked our number 1 to 3 things that we are working on right now, we're going to take those, for instance, be healthy, and break them down into daily steps. Okay, like I said, be healthy even was way too big. That's too big. So let's say that the goal we've decided on is eat better. We're going to break that down into daily steps. We're not just going to suddenly bombard ourselves with kale smoothies and gluten-free, carb-no muffins with acai. Or I don't eat very well. So this example is actually hard for me to figure out. But you're not going to bombard yourself with 10,000 things that you're going to try to do every day. Okay, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's overwhelming. You need to break it down. Break the thing down into daily steps you can take. These steps can snowball. You can start like day one. Maybe you do start every day with a fruit smoothie. That's really nice. That sounds really good, actually. Maybe you do start every day with a fruit smoothie, and that's what you're going to do the first week. But break it down into the steps it takes to get to whatever you're trying to do. Eating better. What does that mean? What does the end state look like? And then what are the steps that you need to take in order to get there? This is really important for me. This step is really important for me because of my ADHD. If I look at a task and I cannot immediately envision the steps and the order that like I need to do, I will just not do it. I'll just go, no, it's fine. That can wait forever. That's not how you get things done. So I spend a lot of time breaking my big tasks down into all their little component parts. Sometimes a task is too overwhelming and I don't know how to break it down. So get help. Google it or ask people in your real life to help you break the steps down. A lot of times I'll talk to my friends or family or my boyfriend. I'll say, okay, this is the thing that I'm trying to do. Can I talk through like how I'm going to get there? And like I kind of talk through the steps to get to it, and they give me advice or let me know things I've forgotten because I am not detail oriented. So there's always something that I've forgotten. Or I will literally look at like 20 articles that say like how to eat better. And I will write down everything they say and put it into a step-by-step list. Take the thing you want, your goal, break it down into daily or mostly daily steps. Like maybe you do something about it once every 3 days or something, or you change something once a week. But break it down into the smallest, simplest possible steps and then write it down. Make sure you write it down. Don't try to remember this. Don't try to remember all of this. Do you hate yourself? Write everything down. I use Asana, which is a cool application for like to-do lists. It's just got a lot of capabilities about scheduling, and it's really user intuitive, and you can move stuff around and assign it to different projects. It really helps me keep my brain organized and not feel like I have everything buzzing around in it all at once. I can put it in there, and then on the day when it needs to get done, it'll be on my to-do list. It's really nice. So I use Asana for everything, but whatever works for you, just make sure that you write it down and break your goals down into their smallest, simplest individual steps. Next, set deadlines on all those steps, or goal dates, target dates, whatever you want to call it. I like calling them deadlines because I need fear to get past my procrastination. I need like a little bit, the right amount of stress. It's a little bit of a balancing act, right? Your deadlines should motivate and not depress. So it's a little bit of a balancing act, right? Like for me, I definitely have to figure out like what is an ambitious schedule without making me feel too crazy overwhelmed or incapable. You know, sometimes I set way too aggressive goals and I feel bad about myself, and then it's a whole cycle. So that's going to be different for you than it is for me. Breaking things down into, like I said, the smaller steps. Really think about like how much you can get done in a day. Try to be realistic and compassionate. And to that end of being compassionate to yourself about these things, remember, be okay with extending your deadlines. Set them because they do motivate. If you just say like, I will eventually do this, you're not going to do it. Figure out the date that you would like to have it done by, but recognize that it's totally okay to extend them, especially when they're goals that like they're for you and they don't really affect other people. Like it's okay to extend it. It's okay if you say this is going to take more time than I thought. I was planning on making the transition to freelance writing full time, and then a plague hit. You know, like I knew I still got it done that year, but I knew that some of my goals were going to have to be extended. I was going to have to mess with my timeline, right? Be okay with extending your deadlines. Still set them, but be okay with extending them. Or sometimes you got to put things on pause. It's okay. Realize that you can put them on pause and come back to them. That's why I called this video, How to Set Goals You Will Actually Achieve Eventually. It's okay. You will get it done. You will get it done faster than you will if you bully yourself about it and get real sad. So set a deadline, recognize you can extend it, recognize you can put it back on pause so long as you get back to it. Get back on that old horse and continue to ride till you need a break again because you and the horse are tired. So set deadlines, be okay with extending them. And the final step that I'm going to give you to set goals that you will actually achieve eventually, start today. Do step 1 today. Once you've done all the other steps, once you have those done, you've broken it down to smaller steps, you've set your deadlines, do the first thing today. You're motivated today. You're excited about it. You just sat down and made this cool list of like the things you want to do, and they are important to you. They align with your values. You are ready to go. Do the first thing today, not on Monday and not tomorrow, because you will not be as motivated. But if you start today while you are excited, then you go into tomorrow having already accomplished something. That's awesome. So start today. Those are my 6 kind of goal setting principles. Try them out. Let me know how they work for you, what you modify, what you do a little bit differently maybe, but those are the ones that have really worked for me, and I think that they would work for people generally, especially if you are neurodivergent in similar ways to me. If you are still having problems being creative, getting into these things, just feeling motivated at all, we have a guide. It's totally free. It's called the 21 Creativity Killers. Maybe the problem is not your goal setting process. Maybe it's something else a little bit more fundamental. This guide will help you figure out what exactly it is that is holding you back from creating, making stuff, accomplishing whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. And then it'll tell you how to fix it. Give you the simple steps on how to fix it. So go ahead and go to the description, download that guide, the 21 Creativity Killers, and then you'll be able to download it, figure out what is holding you back. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy using these goal setting principles. Like I said, I'll make a video later that will talk a little bit more in depth about my particular process, what I do in particular, to see if maybe that can inspire you to think about what would work for you. Make sure you like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on those future goal setting videos. And most importantly, let's go do stuff. Woo!
Here is the doggy that I worked so hard to get last year. He is very cute. He's so sleepy. We went on a walk. He wishes I would stop bothering him, but I love him. Scoochie, 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 scoochie.
Everything on your list will eventually keep done. Everything on your list will eventually keep done.